Hi, my name is Gaylon Moody. I was born on May 8th, 1951. I have a brother who's 10 years older than me and another one who's 11 years older, and then I have a younger sister. When growing up, we were a very Scandinavian, Swedish family. There wasn't a lot of expressing of emotion. There was no saying that I love you or any type of hugging or even touching each other. So it was kind of just the way it was. And then it was also a lot of work on a small dairy farm like that. It was a 16-hour day, and so it was a lot of stuff going on. As time went by, I eventually went to school, and my brothers, who were that much older than me, they were leaving, graduating, so they were more like uncles to me than brothers. And so then, as I'm growing up and adapting to going to school, it was hard because being alone on the dairy farm, I just really wasn't that used to being around other kids, and so it was a lot of work, and it went okay, but I struggled. I think my older brother, saw that I was in that situation and invited me to come down to Arizona to go to Arizona State University. But one day, a fellow from Campus Crusade for Christ pulled me aside as I was walking down the mall, and he shared with me the four spiritual laws, and then led me to Christ. And so it was a wonderful thing it was exactly what I needed, at exactly the right time. And so I became involved in Campus Crusade, and we went out and did some ministry things, spoke at churches, but then we also had a lot of fun together too. And so it was a real growth area for me. And by having that experience, which I thank God for every day, is that I became a Christian, and it gave me the opportunity to learn about what that means. And one of the things was, the concept of being born again. And so I kind of hit the reset button on my life. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to start again. And with God as my father and my Christian brothers and sisters as my family. And, and I didn't really have any issues with my biological family. It just didn't go well for me. But there was never any kind of a breakdown in that way. I got a job at Brainerd State Hospital in Brainerd. And I worked there, and there was this fellow, Joe Plutt, and he was known as the Mad Hugger. And he taught English at the community college in town. And at the end of each class, he would hug all the students as they left, and which really sounds odd in today's world, but back in the 70s, there was a lot more of this kind of thing happening where people were different philosophies and ideas were being bantered about, and so this is something that he did. But for me, it was perfect. And so one of the biggest blessing was that I signed up. It was brought to the state hospital for the employees to go. And so I signed up for the class because I had heard about them. And then my wife, who worked in a different building, signed up for that class too. I had never met her before, didn't know her name, but I probably gave her a hug before I did know her name because as the class went. But we got to know each other for sure, and then along with that, Joe Plutt attended this prayer group in Crosby, a nearby town, and so we would go there because he'd be there and the whole group, and we just really grew together in Christ and got to know each other, and eventually we got married. So then we were going along, and we went to a number of churches after that, and just trying to find the one that worked the best for us. And then in 1996, we came to LeSueur, and we started attending Word of Life pretty much at the same time as they moved into the new building. And so I enjoyed Word of Life, especially because it was Bible-believing, church, Christ-following, but it didn't have a lot of rules that went with it. And that was important to me because so often there are these other rules that you have to abide by, but I just find that I think the Lord can work better with people if they're free to become the person that they're meant to be. And so it was good, and I've grown just exponentially here, and learned a lot, and once again the association with all the other Christians, and so I've continued to stay, and then now recently, this past year in September, I was diagnosed with leukemia, and so that was kind of a shock because I've always been in perfect health. I've never had anything wrong, and all of a sudden I've got this disease. And I was quite promptly sent to Rochester inpatient, and started receiving treatment, and then had to stay in Rochester a couple more weeks. So I was there a whole month and getting treatment. But during that time, I really learned to just be thankful, because I had no idea what the future held for me, but I just really focused on the day and what's happening with me as each person came in to talk to me, and every meal, and just everything that went on. I was just grateful for everything that was happening around me, and for God's presence with me to give me that peace that surpasses understanding. And so I continued in living that way, a day at a time, and not worrying about the future or what happened in the past, but just focusing on what's happening right now. And then along with that, that gratefulness, I just had a real peace and a real joy that settled on me, and I just thank the Lord for that. That He just has taught me so much through this experience. And now the chemotherapy has been working, and I've been given probably several more years to live. So I'm so thankful for that as well. And so just kind of a new final chapter in my life where I can just going to go forward and just thank God for everything that He does for me.